Hope for the best. Okay, we are live.
What happened to the countdown?
I said we don't have a countdown.
I'm aware of that. What happened to it?
When we do StreamYard, we don't have that.
Oh, all right.
See, the comments a countdown.
So, see how we're doing here? Okay, perfect. So that's TikTok?
Correct.
All right, very good. And we're just going to give this a second. Grab me water. Never mind. That's okay. Make do with what I have. Very good. When is early bird registration?
It'll be April 25th.
April 25th. All right. Looks like, is the charger working on this?
I think so.
Okay, a little bit slow. There we go. Just waiting for a few people to tune in before we go ahead and get started here with tonight's free mini class.
Just a heads up, I want you to say posture.
Oh.
Looks okay, but just keep it in mind.
All right. Mythbusting and Lightwork and intuition.
Okay, Mama.
All right. So just waiting for a few people to tune in here before we get started with tonight's class. Looks like TikTok is getting up and running.
Oh, yeah. Hots galore over there.
All right, perfect. So hi, everybody on TikTok. Looks like YouTube is getting running. Hello to Andrea. Hi, Empathic Alex. Welcome. If you guys can give me a thumbs up on TikTok as well as on YouTube, let me know that I have good audio as well as visual. That would help a lot. Paul, my producer, how are you, Paul?
Great, thanks. How are you?
Good. Paul will be taking care of the technical aspects of all of this tonight. And so again, if you guys can let me know if audio and visual is good before we go ahead and get started, that would be really helpful. And does this seem okay to you? Because I definitely want to use this microphone tonight.
In, we get it here and see thumbs up.
Okay, perfect. Ashley, welcome. All right, very good. So while we wait for a few people to tune in, I do want to invite you guys to check out our Sunday service, Roots Revival Interfaith. We do a church service every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. And for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about ego. Okay, so a two-part series on what is ego exactly and how is it negatively affecting your life. And then part 2 of that series, so not this Sunday, but the following Sunday is going to be what can you do about it, how to check your ego. All right. Now, if you have been missing any of the church services, you could check them out here on YouTube at Ask Ivy. Just go to the Roots Revival playlist and a full list of services will pop up. I also want to invite you guys, if you need to book a reading, a party with me, anything like that, you could do that at ivyrivera.psychicmedium.com. That link is in the bio. But if you can't wait for a reading, we have Ivy's Healing Call Center 7 days a week with certified graduates of the Ivy League Psychic Academy. They can help you with healings, paranormal consultations, past life readings, psychic mediumship, tarot, you name it, they do it, and they're amazing, and you can get in right away. Okay, so check out Ivy's Healing Call Center if you need something quick. I also want to invite you guys to check out, if you're not sure what abilities you have, if you're not sure if you're a psychic, a medium, an empath, thank you. Maybe you're debating on coming in for the psychic mediumship training, but you want to see what you have naturally happening at this time with you. Check out, are you a psychic, medium, or empath? Free mini class. I will be telling you what abilities you have, and you guys can ask. And that's this upcoming Thursday, next Thursday. Isn't today Thursday? Yes. Okay, so the next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we'll be doing that again here on TikTok as well as on YouTube. All right, very good. Do we have a few people tuning in?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a funny screen here. Perfect. Thank you. All right, everybody. So welcome. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a Taino Airwalk, and I own a school called the Ivy League Psychic Academy, where I train people internationally online in everything ranging from psychic mediumship development to astrology, Reiki, numerology, tarot, paranormal work, children as well as adults. So check it out. This is one of my free mini classes, part of the quarantine series. When the pandemic hit, I started to put out 1 to 2 free mini classes per week here on my YouTube channel. And you guys feel free to subscribe. This, for those of you on TikTok, is also at Ask Ivy. I do want to invite everyone to hit that like button. And if you want to join to become a member, you can hit that join button. We do appreciate donations as well. Now, tonight is Mythbusting in Lightwork and Intuition. I'm going to tell you what the biggest myths are floating around out there still today and what the truth is behind them. So I am a little bit under the weather. Hopefully my microphone is working, so you guys bear with me. Feel free to send some healing. We have a lot going on lately.
Did you get to donations, memberships?
I did, yes. Okay, so let's talk about this. All right, myth busting in Lightwork and Intuition. First myth: people say, "I am ready to receive more. I want more. I want more. Why am I not getting more?" So most commonly, people will say, "I want more downloads. I want more spirit communication, and I want more intuition and healing abilities." Here's the truth behind that myth. The act of incessantly wanting more is coming from a place of ego. And we need to remember that spiritual work and spiritual development and real enlightenment doesn't come from a place of greed. It's not like your material life. This is a completely different thing. And in the art of working with the universe to receive more, we have to have an attitude of gratitude. We want to appreciate and reflect upon what we already have. We want to process it and apply it to our lives. And we want to make sure that we're not just wanting more to stroke our ego. Okay, so people have been cleverly masking ego and greed under spiritualism, especially in more recent times in this last year. So the universe expects you to walk the walk, to practice and abide by what you have received. And they expect you to be of service with each lesson. So I think too many people see the information that comes as though it is power, almost like that old saying, knowledge is power. Well, it's only power in the spiritual work if you're using it to be of service to others, if you're using it to heal yourself, if you're using it for the greater good. Otherwise, you have no power whatsoever and you won't be receiving more. It's not the kind of thing that you can force. Here's another common myth. People say, "I had an awakening and I'm ready to go out and start teaching it to everybody else. I'm teaching right now. I had an awakening." And they feel that this is somehow, something that they're called to do, or they want to believe that. Here's the truth. For most people, they do not come to Earth with a Lightworker's contract. They do not necessarily come to Earth with a full life contract for healing others. They may not come here to be a teacher of energetic things, spiritual things. Most people come into their awakening because it's for self-development purposes. We are all supposed to have an awakening. It isn't something special. It's a natural part of the human process, because we have to remember that we're not human. We're spirits in a human meat suit. That's all this is. It was never supposed to be something special. Okay, an awakening, connecting spiritually with your ancestors, with your guides, healing, the art of helping others through your intuition. All of that used to be common practice, and in the native system of doing things, okay, connecting back to your ancestors, and for many of you, your tribal roots, we need to remember that this is just a way of life. All right. So for most people who come into spiritual development or an awakening, a kundalini, it is going to be about self-development and the growth process. We also need to make sure that we understand that an awakening is kind of like an onion. There are many, many layers to this. There are many, many lessons that come along with it. There are many tests that will also come along with it. So the second you have one, it's not time for you to get out there and start teaching other people all about it. You have a long, dirty journey to go through, okay? An awakening is not fun and games. It's to be taken seriously, and it's a time for you to be mindful, still, and introspective. Here's another common one. People say, I went to a class, I went to a certification, I read a book, I got the DVD, I can teach better than these people, or I can reteach what I learned. And I should, because I feel that, that's a calling for me if I could do it better even than them. So people often want to go get certifications, they want to take classes, and they want to do it to be able to go out, reteach, and get paid for it. Here's the truth. That's an entitlement attitude, and it's often appropriation. So as a Hispanic, as a Native, finding that I've had my curriculum stolen 12 times by people who felt entitled to take it for themselves and, put a Caucasian stamp on it and be able to resell it easier than I could or for more money, because that's what's commonplace, is theft. And this happens to people all the time. It is not a sign that you have a calling on your life to go reteach anything if you're stealing it from someone else. What you should be doing, and this is obvious, is to honor whatever was given to that person through spirit, through their own research, through their own creativity and efforts, by sending other people back to them. Okay, so it's an unfortunate thing to see with clients sometimes that they say, I want to go out and teach such and such a thing and make a career out of it, and they just learned it from someone else a couple months ago. That's unacceptable behavior, and it will not be rewarded by the universe. It is not authentic at all. Here's another myth, that cord cutting with someone else is bad, that it's punishable, that it's harsh, and that because you are a kind person or a light worker or enlightened, you understand that not everybody else is, and you want to hold space. Even if the other person is causing you harm, disrespecting you, is toxic in any way, you think that you will be rewarded for giving them healing, okay? No, not at all. So here's the truth. You have a responsibility to, at all times, choose self-love, self-care, self-respect, and you are expected through law of attraction, through the laws of the universe, through the laws of manifestation and good karma, you are expected to take care of yourself by setting healthy boundaries and staying in your lane. When you allow for someone with toxic behavior to step all over you or take advantage or misbehave, and you don't address it and set those boundaries, sometimes even having to leave and cut them off, what you're actually doing is you're enabling them, which means you're feeding the dark and you get karmic kickback immediately. Okay, so this is actually a really bad idea. Cord cutting is not a terrible, harsh, negative approach to ending a relationship. What cord cutting actually does when done properly is it allows you to release, forgive, sign off on the old contract that you have with this person, sign on to a new contract, become self-empowered, and take good care of your energy without allowing this person to manipulate and drain you. Okay, so check out Relationships, Boundaries, and Cord Cutting class. That's up on my website. Okay, but it's absolutely something that you need to have as a common practice in your life whenever it's very difficult, okay, to pull yourself away from somebody else. And that includes family or even your children or a spouse that you've had for a long time. There are no differences in this. I want to encourage you guys to post your questions or comments. Paul will be taking them throughout. And if they don't fit in with the curriculum, we will take them at the end. Okay, so here's another one. People say, if I'm receiving a message from Spirit, it is my duty to go up to someone on the street or at work or in my family or to my friends and deliver it. All right. Woo! All right. So here's the truth on that one. First of all, you're not Long Island Medium. Okay. She has editors. And the majority of time, these are not well received or appreciated. Now, there can be times when you should deliver a message to someone, but you had better make sure that you're using your discernment. Are you sure that came from Spirit? Did it come maybe just from your psychic ability and everyone else who passed by them is getting the same thing? Did it come from your empathic ability? You're just picking up on a lot of emotion. Are you sure it came from Spirit? And if it did come from Spirit, are you really supposed to deliver it? Are you sure this is a spirit from the light? Does it come with a healing message? Often psychics, mediums deliver messages out to people and it's like a punch in the face. It's like they just got hit with the freight train. You can't deliver difficult messaging or toxic messaging if it is going to upset the person. Unsolicited messaging. They didn't want it. Okay, they didn't ask for it. And it's often not helpful, especially if you didn't tell them what to do about it. So I always train my students, you have to give a healing message. You can't say anything to anybody that could be misconstrued or taken as negative unless you have a healing solution. All right, so a lot of people will say, well, I'm accurate, so I'm just going to say it. But if you tell someone there's going to be a death, there's going to be an accident, they're going to have a divorce, they're going to lose their job, oh, you better be careful, or you better go to the doctor, you have a health problem. If you say things like that, you had better make sure, first of all, you're accurate and that you should be saying it and it should be followed up with solution. Otherwise, you should have kept that to yourself. It's called messenger of death syndrome. And it means that you pick up on toxic, negative information and delivering it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Quite damaging, okay? But also remember, nobody asked you for those messages. So don't get upset if you go up to people and they're like, wow, I'm at work. That was really inappropriate. You upset me. Even if you think it's a beautiful message, what you can do is to have Spirit send them to you. Okay, they can find you. You can give them your card, but I would advise against it most of the time. Okay, so let's move on to another one. People will say, and this is quite possibly the most common myth I ever hear. People say having intuitive abilities, psychic, mediumistic, empathic, is a gift. Only certain special chosen people have this. And anyone who says any different is just like a wannabe. That is so ridiculous and outdated. I'm shocked when I still hear how many people believe this. Pretty much everybody internationally believes that still. It's not a gift. It's innate. Psychic ability, everybody uses their psychic ability, their gut instinct, their intuition every day on earth, or they'd be dead. That's a given, okay? So it's just natural. It's not special. Some people do have it to a heightened degree, and it can be quite impressive, but everybody has it. Mediumistic ability, everybody has it. Spirit does not care whether or not you believe that you're a medium or not. Spirit does not care whether you believe in the continuation of life after death or not. If a spirit wants to communicate something to somebody, they're going to use that person. Actually, those who don't believe tend to be most vulnerable to mediumship. And, even things like trance mediumship, where a spirit can go right into the body and speak right through their mouth. All kinds of interesting things can happen. That does not require your involvement. Okay. So mediumistic abilities are also innate. I also believe, okay, and here's one, nobody's going to like to hear if you've been thinking this is really special. Empathic ability. I believe everybody has it. I don't believe that everyone's using it wisely. Constructively, I think people are abusing it. I think when we look around and we see a high number, an increase in narcissists and sociopaths and psychopaths, in our society, especially here in America, I think that's from generation after generation of empathic ability gone awry. And people are learning more and more about how to use it for wrong. But I believe that there are 4 different levels to empathic ability, and those are the lower levels as well. However, when people do hit the 3rd and the 4th levels of empathic ability, you guys could check out, Paul, if you want to put that in the comments, empathic awareness class. That's where we start to see some really unique abilities. Okay, so empaths, especially at the 3rd and the 4th level, are automatically mediumistic and they're automatically psychic to a heightened degree. So that part is true. All right, here's another myth. That the deceased cannot communicate for a year to a year and a half after they have passed. This is still being taught internationally, largely today, everywhere you go. I'm not sure where that came from, and I'm not sure why it's being perpetuated, other than I think some mediums can't connect. And so they use that as an excuse instead of just saying, I'm sorry, I couldn't connect. There is absolutely no truth to this whatsoever. So we can actually communicate telepathically, energetically, spiritually, while we're alive. We can do that while we're in the death process, and we can do it immediately after. Okay, to learn more about that, check out my death coaching class on here. Here's another one. Shame on you. You should be ashamed of yourself for charging any money or asking me to give you anything if you gave me a reading or a healing, because it's a gift from God. You're lucky to have it and you owe me that. Okay, it's ridiculous. Okay, just giving the patience that would be required to work with someone like that alone, okay, deserves a charge and a tip. But a lot of people do have that attitude. And you don't need to explain yourself, but let's think of it this way. You're giving your time, your attention, your energy, okay, your kindness to this person. And you should have an energetic exchange. And this is very similar to, I think it was like the 4th thing we talked about earlier with setting boundaries with others and cord cutting and things like that. It is your responsibility to do so. So you could actually find yourself cut off from your mediumistic and healing abilities if you are out of alignment with the law of the universe that requires reciprocity. Okay. So there's a time to be of service and receive nothing in return. It is not when the person in front of you is demanding that you owe it to them because they feel entitled to receive it. Okay. And it's a scam to say to you, well, you got it from God, therefore, because that's also, a myth, and they think they can guilt you into doing that for them. All right. Here's another one. We're going to do this one and one more, and then we're going to take any questions and comments here. Another common one is that through law of attraction proves that you attract to you what you are. So if you attract a bunch of negative, toxic friends, and you are always tied up in love relationships that end up being really harmful for you, that you are attracting what you are, so you need to do shadow work, it's on you. No, absolutely not. We attract what we offer. So we attract people who want and need what we offer. Now, this is especially true for empaths. Empaths give off naturally healing energy. They are energy manipulators. They are able to heal involuntarily situations and people and animals around them. That's why we need to be protective of our energy. But because you give off a healing energy, and research shows empaths are the #1 group to attract narcissists and sociopaths. I think this is a great example of how we can put out healing, loving, wonderful energy to the universe and attract nothing but bad stuff back to us. So we really need to shake those old mentalities that we somehow deserve it. It forces a lot of people to look at their karma and to wonder if they have some kind of bad residual karma from a previous life, or they're being punished in some way. And that is absolutely not the case. Okay, so we need to look deeper into that. Again, check out the empathic awareness class. I talk about it there. All right, and here's the last one. There are a couple more, but we're not going to get to them all today. I do a myth-busting class. For those of you who are attending my psychic mediumship course, we do a full-length myth-busting class, about 2 hours long. So number 10, or the final one, that doing any kind of intuitive work, mediumistic, or spiritual work is of the devil, and you are putting yourself in danger. You're harming others, and you're opening up Pandora's box. Oh my God, what might happen to you? This creates so much fear in people that I literally have students coming in like shaking and losing family and feeling like they're kicked out, or literally being kicked out of their social group or their church. That is outrageous to me, but it is still extremely common to see. There's not a group that I work with where we don't have probably a quarter to half of people, sadly, that this happens to. So you have to remember that people who are saying that to you have been programmed. They may not be the brightest bulbs in the box, and they aren't thinking for themselves. They're robots, they're zombies, they're sheep, okay? They've been brainwashed. And the church made a lot of profit off of ideas like that. If the church trained people, right, for hundreds of years to believe that only the priest, the Vatican, or whoever was at the top held the power to communicate with God, then you would give money and you would go to that person. Okay, everybody needs God, right? Everyone needs help. And so they put it up on a pedestal, and it was a way to control government. It was a way to perpetuate the patriarchy. It was a way to brainwash you, cut you off through colonization, also from your roots, from your tribe, from your history. And all of that makes people, okay, all of that belief that there's something dark out there that's going to take over you, it keeps them powerless to also protect themselves. So I find that those that have the most trouble with possession and paranormal activity, demonic hauntings in their house or of their energy in person, those are some of the most religious people I've ever met. So don't be taught that any spiritual work we do is of the devil. Discernment, absolutely important for you to understand the difference between light and dark energies, to make sure that you're only communicating with spirits from the light and things like this. But the idea that hiding your head in the sand and being afraid of it is going to protect you is ridiculous. You have to get educated, and you have to start actively working with the energy, only feeding and supporting the light. And that's what actually gets rid of any negative and dark energies. And developing your abilities when done properly is certainly not going to open up the door for the devil. Okay. All right. So those are some of the most common ones. We have any questions or comments?
Yeah, we had one. One of the members had sent in. I've never heard the term Lightwork. Will you explain that for me?
So what is Lightwork? I think most people think of Lightwork as being a calling, a duty, a service that certain people come to Earth with. They are supposed to give healing to other people, and they're supposed to help people to remove blocks from their energy field, whether it be past life, mental, emotional, physical. They're supposed to help people to stay on path with their life contract. So that means that I find the majority of people are not living on purpose. The majority of people are in the wrong career, in the wrong marriage, living in the wrong location. You know, they're not doing what they signed onto earth to do. And the idea of a light worker is someone who's capable of sort of putting you back on that path and getting you healthy. I think it has a lot of different meanings for different people these days, especially with the awakening really kicking up in 2020. And everyone's saying, you know, I'm a light worker, or I want to be. But it is a very sacred thing. And it is something that I see people are appointed to do when they have had many past lives where they've already been working in this work, you know, different ways, different times, but leading up to, that position, helping people to heal. Mm-hmm.
Alex has said that she's run into people that being entitled and healing and want it for free, and how annoying that is. And I'm sure we all do. It's awful. It's everywhere, every day almost.
Well, and you have to remember that people who come up to you and demand or try to manipulate you into giving it for free, that they are takers in all areas of their life. So they're the ones, you know, that's Karen at the supermarket in front of you who's demanding that she get a discount. You know, that's someone with their coupon that expired, trying to fight their way through it. That's someone trying to, you know, be stingy about a buck. They don't want to, you know, whatever it is. I mean, they do it in all areas. And you have to remember that just because it's happening to you right then, think of how they are out in society. You've bumped into this clown a million times. Set your boundaries and keep them set, because you are being tested and you don't want negative karmic kickback for that. If you cave, we don't feed that. We don't feed greed.
A lot of times it's shocking too. It's someone you've never ever encountered on social media. They'll just randomly
it's every day.
And hey, can I have a free reading? No.
Every day since Paul took over all my my bookings and my messaging systems and all my social media accounts and everything, he gets to see I'm bombarded with it 24/7. Absolutely. And I don't know them. I don't owe them, and I don't know them, you know. And if spirit has you set up to be of service to someone and to ask for nothing in return, spirit will let you know either beforehand or when it's time. They'll tell you first. Yeah.
And we got one from Bernadette, who has your quote here. We attract what we offer is the most succinct way of summarizing the way to live.
That's so true. That's so true. Yeah, we attract what we offer. And I think, it's such a healthy perspective to have. Instead of getting down on ourselves, we should be like, wow, I must really be doing something right. It reminds me a lot of the leveling up system. For those of you who haven't checked out my Fighting the Dark class on here, I talk about the 5 different ways you get under attack every single time you're about to level up. So this is another great aspect of that. When life is getting really hard, when you feel like you're taking one beating after another, could it be that something amazing is right around the corner and you are literally about to level up in a huge way? And often it's everyone closest to you too that gets in on the attacks. What is happening? You know, it's all the same thing.
Mm-hmm. We have one from Tiona Douglas.
Okay.
What about doing free readings until you stop charging?
Well, you know, I'm doing free readings now. I do free readings every Monday. I do help people all the time. You know, it's not like giving and then stopping giving. It's like you should always be of service, but it has to be appropriate. It has to be within your lane and your calling. So being of service, not collecting any payment is going to be part of your lifelong journey for sure. But as far as not charging for your readings while you're practicing and you're perfecting your craft, your payment is really the client's feedback. It's really getting an opportunity to practice. It's really having a chance to figure out what it is that you need to learn next. And you should, at the very least, not everyone will be willing to do it But at the very least, if you're going to give somebody a reading, ask for constructive feedback as your payment. And the minute Spirit tells you that you need to start charging something or trading or whatever, I wouldn't stall too long, before you do that. All right, very good. Well, it was a pleasure doing this one with you guys. Hope you liked it. We have our next free mini class coming up. Are you a psychic, a medium, or an empath? I will be telling you what abilities you have. You'll be asking questions. I think I have this. Do I have this? This weird thing happens to me. What the heck is it? We'll put into perspective what abilities are going on with you. That's going to be next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, here on TikTok and here on YouTube at Ask Ivy. If you guys want to register for my psychic mediumship course starting here in May, you should probably get on the early bird registration. It's pretty much full. And that early bird registration is going to open up April 25th to get dibs at a seat. And they could go to psychicmediumshipcourse.com, correct?
Yep.
Psychicmediumshipcourse.com. Hope to see you guys there. All right, everybody, have a great night. Thanks, Paul.
You're very welcome.